Good morning.
Good morning.
I assume that I'm sorry, Mr. Presfica.
Sifka.
Profiska. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. It's so I
No
apologize
worries.
for butchering it. And Miss Miller. Oh, you're muted, Miss Miller. Or maybe not. I don't know what's going on. No, it doesn't show you're muted, but I can't hear you.
I know plaintiff in my case said he didn't have the Zoom information.
Oh, he didn't? Let me talk to my staff on
He
that.
just sent an email out.
Okay. Yeah. What's going on, to give you a heads up, is we moved courthouses.
Uh-oh.
I'm the new judge. And so not only we trying to get new computers working and it's just been kind of crazy around here. So let me, my email is not wanting to cooperate when I'm sending out those invitations. So let me get with this Monday.
Yeah, and I have to get off my computer system at the office, so I can't resend it to him
Okay.
that you sent me. I'll see if I can do it from my phone.
Okay. Hold on. Let me check with my coordinator. Hold on a second. Oh, wait. Oh, what is the client's email? You know what it is?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Oh, okay.
It's Scott at Davenport, but that's all I can get. Hold on.
Okay.
Scott at Davenport, Davenport -law.com.
Okay. She just said
did get it.
he just says, yes, I just sent it to him, had the incorrect email. Okay.
Oh,
So,
and
and
I
let me
don't
add
know,
Miss
I may have
Miller.
given you the wrong one then.
No, we might be good. I got something here. I think we're good. There's Miss Miller coming up.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can. Great. And I see Mr. Davenport's coming up.
Oh, there we go.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning, Mr. Davenport. How you doing today?
Good. Apologize for my tardiness. I just got a wrong email address.
No, not a problem. You know, I was just telling Mr. Pacifica, I know I'm killing that name, that it's been kind of crazy around here. So you might want to bear with me. Not only am I Judge McKeag retired and I'm the new sheriff in town, I guess, or new judge in town. We moved courthouses, and so
great.
not only is my hair on fire, my staff is, and actually they're calming me down, so they're doing great. I
see your desk is empty back there, so I guess.
Yeah, no, everything's empty, no pictures, nothing. You know? Oh, and you're going to love this, and this will probably happen. It's happened in 2 other hearings. They haven't fixed my lighting setting, so if I don't move around a lot, the lights just go off. And so
I've got that same thing in my office. It's a 5-minute
so
motion.
if you see this, I'm sure that looks really good. You know,
Hi.
Well, then you need to come in our building because they have that in our bathroom.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Great.
Yeah.
That promotes quickness, David.
There are times when one cannot be quick.
Well, I'm going to quit complaining about that then. You know,
That's right. That's right.
Well, unfortunately, I'm stuck back at home thanks to COVID. So
Yes.
I think we have another minute. I
think everybody's here.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's here. Okay,
Yeah.
Good deal. Let's just wait 1 more minute because I have to make my little YouTube announcement, and so we're set for 9, and then we'll get after it. Okay, it says 9 o'clock on my computer here. So go ahead, Robin, and let's start up. This hearing is being conducted on the Zoom teleconference application due to COVID-19. Oh, here I need to admit the district clerk. I'm sorry, not everybody is not here. Just a second. All right, got the clerk on. Let me start over. This hearing is being conducted on the Zoom teleconference application due to COVID-19, also being broadcast live on the 506 YouTube channel. And so I'm going to go ahead and call this case to order. If the plaintiff's attorney would, for the record, state their name.
Your Honor, Scott Davenport, representing the plaintiffs in this case.
Okay, and the defense.
David Persefka on behalf of Daily Express, Wayne Mack.
And Ms. Miller.
On behalf of Garzo, a defendant.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, well, Mr. Davenport, this is your motion. So tell me what you got.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, we are pleased to be representing the widow of Teresa Bartholomew, back in October 3 of 2019, Teresa was driving home from the grocery store on US Business 290, and suddenly a tractor trailer with a load had just pulled out of a facility right there owned by Garzo, and fully loaded flatbed with some big machinery on the back. And within 100 yards or so, his truck began smoking. Apparently, the tires were smoking somehow immediately from pulling out of the facility. We've attached a photograph in the petition that we filed the other day, the First Amendment petition, to give the court a little bit of guidance. But the flatbed had pulled out of the Garza facility, and within 100 yards or so had stopped in the middle of the highway to address the smoking tire concern. And Miss Bartholomew, who's about 80 at the time, 80 years old, she was right behind the truck at the time. Ended up it was not able to avoid it and pass it safely, and ended up slamming into the back of the tractor trailer. She died 21 days later as a result of her injuries from smashing into the truck. We filed suit on behalf of the widow, Dan Bartholomew, and the estate and the heirs against the truck driver, Mr. Mack, against his employer, his company he was driving for, Daily Express, and also against Garzo, who the folks who loaded this machinery on the flatbed. The issue in that suit was filed in December, about 2 months or so, month and a half or so after the crash, and about a month or so after she died. We filed suit against all three parties. We got the two corporate entities served, and then we ran into a bunch of delays getting Mr. Mack served. We were given, he's not a Texas resident. We were given several addresses in South Carolina. They were all bad addresses. We finally got a good address from Daily Express for Mr. Mack, not until May. We confirmed that was a good address. And then all the while we asked Daily Express, look, he's your driver, he's driving your truck, would you please accept service? And you're probably going to represent him. They would not do that. And so we had to jump through all the hoops. We ultimately got a Rule 106 order in June 17, and we got him served finally in July. And then sure enough, Daily Express lawyers entered an appearance for him in August. And so we finally had all the parties together properly before the court in August, but it took some doing. In the meantime, we work with David Persiskin and his firm many, many years, have many cases with those guys. And so we contacted them and said, look, and we filed a brief response last night after we got Daily Express's reply yesterday. We said, look, guys, let's get inspection set up. Let's get the depositions set up, and let's get this thing going. That started in January, almost immediately after we got them served, even though we hadn't had the truck driver served. But again, we figured that Daily Express, it's their driver, they'd be representing the guy anyway. Long story short, as we spend the next 6 months or so, we sent several letters. As you can see in the reply we filed yesterday, we sent numerous letters, January, February, March, saying, let's get the inspection going and let's get these depositions on the calendar. We got multiple parties and multiple lawyers and schedules. Let's get these things all booked. And we actually had a tentative time set in March for the inspection. And then, of course, the whole world blew up in March, and COVID rolled in, and everything pretty much got canceled and shut down, as your honor is aware. We spent the next few months, trying to do the paper discovery. We work with Daily Express to try to resolve some discovery issues. And also get the service done on the driver. We accomplished the service on the driver. The discovery issues, we ended up having a hearing with Judge McKagan in September. He issued an order for some supplemental discovery. One of the issues, Judge, here is that we've been trying to figure out, tractor trailers don't just stop in the middle of the highway, okay? They're not supposed to.
Sorry.
That's all right. And that's what happened here. Unexpectedly, this thing pulls out and just stops in the middle of the highway, middle of the lane. And so we're trying to figure out why. We know it was smoking. We know the tires were smoking on the truck. We don't know if it was overloaded and pushing down on the tires. We don't know if one of the come along chain strap things was rubbing on the tire. We don't know if it was not properly loaded. We don't know if there was a problem with the braking mechanism, the air shocks, the air lifts on the back of this truck. We don't know. We have asked in discovery literally every which way to explain from the driver's perspective, and certainly from the company's perspective, who has had this trailer now for a year, what happened? Tell us why this thing was smoking, which led your driver to stop this truck in the middle of the road. It was still drivable. He just chose to stop in the middle of the highway. And so their answer is basically been, we don't know. It was smoking and we stopped. We don't know why it was smoking. Well, we've asked several different ways. The judge had ordered a supplementation to that effect. We basically got the same answer on the supplementation. So we still do not know from the driver's mouth or from the corporate representative for Daily Express why this thing was smoking. We finally, due to COVID, we finally were able to get an initial inspection done with the experts in November, I think it was 18 or 19, just before the Thanksgiving. And our guys went out there, David's guys went out there as well, and they did inspect the trailer to some extent. And they've looked at it and done some of what they need to do. The problem is we don't have the whole story. Okay, the driver, for whatever reason, will not explain in the written discovery. And again, we've asked 4 or 5 different ways in the interrogatories, why was this thing smoking? And they just refuse to answer those questions at all. And to say it's smoking, we don't know, our experts will tell us. Well, he's a truck driver, he's an experienced truck driver. The video of the accident scene from the body cam from the police officers, DPS officers investigating, they're all bending down, looking at something. There's a conversation. It's hard to hear on the audio. So there's more information there, but they won't tell us in the interrogatory answers. And so we have been asking literally since January and February and March and all those letters we attached in our reply last night. We've asked them multiple times, give us a deposition of the driver, bring him here to Houston. We want to depose the guy, and also your corporate rep on these issues. I mean, we literally asked 8, 9, 10 times in writing, on the phone. Even at the inspection, when I was talking with David, I said, look, the next phase is we'd like to take the guy's deposition, the driver and the rep, and then get with our experts, get them to look at the depots, and then we're probably going to need a second round of an inspection to follow up on whatever information we get from this driver and the representative. And so that's where we stand right now. And we followed up with a letter in December, a couple letters in December saying, please get us deposition dates. So far, we have yet to receive any deposition dates at all from Daily Express or Mr. Mack. In talking with Mr. Prasiska, they want to get the trailer, which has been sitting in the Houston lot, Daily Express lot. They want to get this trailer back in service. I appreciate that, but we would like the opportunity to talk to the critical witnesses first, and then get our experts to look at those depositions and then make sure that there's nothing else they need to do with that trailer before it disappears. Because once it's gone, it's gone. We're not going to get it back, or I don't want to get it back with 10,000 miles on it and say, all right, fine, look at it 3-4 months from now after it's been used in the ordinary course on the highways and things. So we're asking this court to issue an injunction to preserve that trailer in the condition it is until such time as we get these depositions and get our experts to either have the opportunity to finish their inspection. They may not, I don't know, but depending upon what the driver actually tells us. But we've had and again, we've worked with David's firm for years, and we've had sort of a handshake verbal agreement. They would keep the trailer. That is now, they've essentially said they don't want to do it anymore. They want to get the truck back in service. So that's why we're here today, is asking this court to issue an injunction to preserve that trailer as it has been until such time as we are afforded the opportunity to get the whole truth. And that's all we're asking, Judge, is to give us the opportunity to depose these guys. If they don't want to tell us in writing what happened, then we at least should be given the opportunity for us as attorneys for the Bartholomew family to cross-examine them and find out what's going on. And so we're asking this court to issue an injunction to allow to preserve that trailer until such time as we're done with it, basically. You know, we're talking about a fatality case. This is not a soft tissue injury case. A major injury to, obviously, Miss Bartholomew died as a result of it. I don't think it's too preposterous to maintain this trailer in such a manner as it was before until such time as we get to the bottom of what happened.
Okay. I guess Mr. Pacifica?
Yes.
first?
Your Honor, there was a request for a trailer inspection made over a year ago. We made numerous dates available during that time. A lot of time we'd finally get a response and saying, yeah, I'd like to do it next week, which was never enough time to get all the experts in line. Nevertheless, we got the inspection done. They've gone out there and they've looked at it. And the problem is they have found nothing wrong with the trailer. If they had found something wrong with the trailer, then they'd be up here, they'd be sitting there telling us they know what they want and they know what they need to do. But they got out there and they spent 3/4 of a day testing all the lines, making sure the trailer worked, the hydraulics worked, they did all the measurements. They know that what issues, if any, were involved in the trailer. What we know is the trailer was used after this accident. It took a load to Louisiana. Somebody found an issue with the brake and they replaced a coupler and the nippler and it returned back and there wasn't any issues with it. So apparently we've looked at it. We don't find anything, that I know of wrong with the trailer. We'd like to get it back in service. Mr. Mack has given him all the information he knows because we asked him what was wrong. And he says, I don't know. I did what I thought I did. I looked at the trailer. I worked it. I loaded it. I don't know why it went down. They looked at the police video. They're all talking in the police video about the loads on the trailer. Something went wrong between A and B. I don't know what it is, but so far, no one has found any issues with the trailer. Keeping it out of service is not going to resolve the issue, and deposing people are not going to resolve the issue. What they apparently want, as I thought, is basically what is your theory of the case? And it's like any other case. You've got your inspection. Let's move on. I'll start working on dates for a corporate rep. They may not get Mac. He has suddenly gone MIA, that happens. Well, we're not going to sit here. It may be another year. I've got to get an investigator to go out and locate him now. He stopped responding about a month and a half ago. When they last asked for those questions, we got information from him and I haven't heard from him since, and his phone's now disconnected. So, I've got somebody out looking for him. But, early on, it was like, let's get the inspection done, then we'll set up depots. They've got the information they know about the condition of the trailer. They don't need to spend more time running a bunch of different tests because they don't know what they want to do. And quite honestly, it's not really relevant anymore. We know that the truck left. It came off, and as soon as it was leaving, it had to pull this side of the road because 2 witnesses flagged our driver down and said, hey, your tires are smoking. As soon as he pulled over, the accident happened. It's not like he was out there for 20 minutes sitting on the side of the road. It suddenly happened. And so that's why we just simply need to move on. We'll get a corporate rep, but not having that trailer in service is expensive and it just needs to go back. They've looked at it. They know what the issue is with the trailer, or there are no issues with the trailer. It's going to be one way or the other. As far as their complaints about Mr. Mack, he's an independent contractor. He's not an employee. We can't sit there and accept service unless he gives approval. So that's simply a red herring. But we'd like to put the trailer back in service. There's no reason to keep inspecting it. I mean, it was used after this incident and worked perfectly fine all the way to Shreveport, Louisiana and back. Once the accident happened, they simply flipped the flip axle. It's got an axle on the back with extra tires. They flipped it down. They took the trailer back. No repairs were made at the scene. We're not aware of any repairs made at the scene. We got a tow truck receipt, which just says $400 and something for showing up. If they had done any repairs, it would have been noted on there. So it's an issue that the trailer needs to be go, and then we can start working on depots. So, it's not going to be doing any good to keep that trailer offline.
Okay, Ms. Miller.
I don't have a position on this issue.
Okay, I got a couple questions here. First of all, and I apologize because I'm new to this case. What is Mr. Mack a part of this lawsuit, or is he just
He is a defendant,
okay?
and he was cooperating for
Who's
quite a while.
representing him?
Yes,
Who is?
we are representing him now.
Okay, gotcha.
But Daley,
Go ahead.
we don't have the authority to accept service, and the companies don't have authority to accept service for independent contractors. He's not an employee. He's
Okay,
a statutory employee based on the law. But as far as that, he's still an independent contractor. And part of this view got is he owed us a bunch of money.
gotcha. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
I'm not telling you to stop. I'm trying to get the lights back. Okay, I understand the situation with Mr. Mack now. I just want to make sure he was a party and that you guys, in essence, are representing, but he's MIA. I get that. Next question I have your experts already done have they inspected the vehicle? Mr. Prisevka, sorry.
Our people inspected at the same time as his.
Okay,
Our expert came out there, took a look at it.
okay.
We did no testing. We've not done any testing until they arrived. Any inspections were visual. That's all we did was look at it
See,
until they arrived. Then our
normally-
expert,
Go ahead. I was gonna say, normally scheduling order, but but the problem we have is COVID, and trials, they keep setting things back. So if I give you a scheduling order,
Judge, I can't hear you. There's somebody's phone ringing or email.
It's not mine. I don't know.
Okay, it stopped.
All right. Normally I could just give you a scheduling order and we can move this thing along and push things. But the problem I'm having is if I give you guys a scheduling order, and maybe y'all want one, I could set discovery deadlines and all that, but we don't know when this trial thing's going to happen. So, I don't know how y'all feel about that. Might get your input on that. But as far as your experts on the defense, have y'all made any type of report or anything like that?
No, Judge, our experts went out there the same day his did to inspect the trailer and actually worked the hydraulics. They went out there, they ran the brakes, they did the air brakes, they did the hydraulics, they checked for leaks. As best I can tell what they were doing.
Okay.
And
Mr. Davenport, have you asked, I assume you're talking about depositions. I know you wanted to take Mr. Mack's deposition, but were you planning on taking the depositions of the experts as well?
Eventually, Judge, but ordinarily we would take the deposition. We'd either do an inspection, take the depots, and then re-inspect if necessary, or the better position would be to take the depositions and then do the inspection once we armed with the information from Mr. Mack. And this one's a little bit particular because if there was no mechanical defect, which everybody, at least initially, that's what seems to be the indication, then it potentially is driver error or loading error. But again, from what we're seeing on the video from the DPS officer, they were looking down at something underneath the trailer bed, and they're all saying, "Oh, that's what happened," including Mr. Mack. So he was there right in the front row, and so I think he knows a lot more than what he is telling us, Judge. So,
Okay.
But once we get that information, if he says that, look, there was a defect, or the shocks were down, or we heard an air leak or something like that, then that's something that we need to know so our experts can finalize and probably require a second inspection of the vehicle. That's the whole dilemma here is, the Mr. Prisevka spoke to, or the Daily Express obviously talked to Mr. Mack and found out what happened the day it happened, but we were not privy to those conversations or any of that information. And so, but now it's all of a sudden he knows nothing about how his truck was smushed down or something happened such that all the tires were smoking or whatever the one tire was smoking.
Okay. Well, at some point, if you can't locate Mr. Mack, all right, am I correct in this?
yeah, Judge, if I can respond. Either way, if the testimony comes back later that there was an air leak, then they have their evidence and they don't need to inspect the trailer again. It won't make a difference. It said there was an air leak, therefore there was a problem with the trailer and the client should have recognized it. So that's really, I guess, irrelevant, not really relevant to not allowing the trailer to go back in. If Mac wants to come in and say, or someone says, yeah, we saw an air leak, or the hydraulics weren't working, or the airbag wasn't working, well, then that comes back to us still. So it really doesn't matter what the testimony is later. I mean, I watched that video and I heard them. They said the load was on the tires. So
Okay. Real quick, Mr. Davenport. So it's your contention that you do not want to take the experts' depositions until you've taken Mr. Mack's deposition. Is that correct?
Correct, because I'm fairly certain that we're going to get more information out of Mr. Mack that's going to be relevant to the experts' analysis. So if we depose these experts now, it's going to be a limited, here's what we know right now, but that's going to change after Mr. Mack, who's the key player here, gives a deposition to tell us what happened.
All right. Well, this is, the kind of the way I look at it. And how big is this company, Mr. Persev?
can't say for sure, Judge. I don't know. This is my
I
only
didn't know
case with them.
It was like a son and dad shop. They only have 2 trucks, or what we were looking at.
No, but this is a unique trailer with the flip axle for certain type of loads.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm not hearing you say that what Mr. Davenport's saying as far as trying to get the deposition done, that other than he's MIA, that's not true. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to grant the temporary injunction to preserve evidence. I feel like it's your client. You need to make him available, and so we're going to do that. If for some reason we can't locate him down the line, maybe we look into that. But I'm gonna normally I would put a time limit on when this would kind of end. But at this point, since there's no reports done on the defense side or the as well. I mean, another option is possibly, and you guys talk about it, is y'all can work out where y'all would have some type of Rule 11 agreement where you say, okay, this is the only expert evidence that's going in, so that the plaintiffs would know, okay, this is all I have to worry about down the line when they investigate. Maybe that would resolve the problem. That's up to you guys. But because of the COVID, and really, unless y'all just want a scheduling order, but that might have to be readdressed, I can issue a scheduling order if you want that. But as far as today, I'm going to sign the temporary injunction, and I suggest that y'all find Mr. Mack and get that deposition done, because that'll push you guys into getting that done. And I'm going to expect Mr. Davenport's expert to be diligent and get after it as soon as they can, so that we can, number one, move this case down the road. But we have a death here. We have spoilage possibly of evidence, and I'm just going to go ahead and sign it. Okay. Do y'all want a scheduling order?
No.
Well, Your Honor, let me ask: is there any?
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes.
I'll go with Mr. Davenport first. What's your position as far as monetary on the bond?
I mean, the TIs that we've done in the past on preservation of evidence, usually it's $500 or $1,000. I mean, it's pretty nominal. The bond is just designed to see if it's wrongfully issued, which obviously it's not. So I don't think there's any harm in that.
All right.
The harm is we've got a valuable piece of asset that we can't use. And we
Okay.
can't get it out on the road for an inspection that's already been conducted.
Okay. Yeah,
Information obtained as to any defect.
I understand your position, but we need to get this discovery needs to be done. The reports need to be able to be completed. And I don't think and I'm looking at the answers or the responses in the pleading from Mr. Davenport. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Persefka, but it says on a lot of this that the cause of the incident in question is still undetermined, and further information analysis will be provided after the inspection of the trailer by defendant's experts. So that tells me that, it's open as to your defendant's experts, because you haven't sent a report over. And so, if y'all want to maybe send a report over and say, hey, this is it, maybe you can work that out with Mr. Davenport. But the way I look at it is, if you're leaving that open, then the truck's probably not needed at this point. So, but with that, I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to go ahead and make it $1,000 bond. And that's all I have. Does anybody have anything else?
Judge, really quick, so Mr. Bartholomew is obviously 80 plus years old. Is there any shot at getting a jury trial in the fall in this case?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. we have civil dockets and criminal. I'm a court of general jurisdiction, so I have to handle sexual assault cases. I have to handle murder cases and civil cases as well. Usually our sexual assault and murder cases take priority. But on the civil docket, I will check with my my clerk and coordinator and see if we can, because of her age, work you in pretty good. But if part of me really thinks that you guys probably need a scheduling order, so I'm thinking about just ordering that anyway. So that would push it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that if we have, and maybe pie in the sky, I mean, who knows with the whole world it is, but I think, as lawyers, if we don't have a deadline, certainly
Yeah,
insurance companies, nothing gets done, but with
that's
lawyers,
right.
if we can shoot maybe for like October, November trial setting, even if it's not going to happen due to COVID, at least that gives us some deadline for which to move.
Okay. I'm not going to promise that, but
I understand. No
I
promises these days.
yeah, right. Usually Judge McKeag has a pretty good system that I've looked at, and I might tweak it a little bit, but it looks pretty good on his. He pushes attorneys pretty well. So, because if not, you get buried. And so I planned on doing that, but right now we're just in that unique situation. I literally just was with the regional court on getting our new latest COVID protocols in place for all the judges in my region or my county. So it is what it is. But what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and do a scheduling order, and that'll help push the discovery issues, and then maybe that'll help you get your truck back in service quicker. And I think that's better. And plus the fact that the plaintiff is elderly, I think it's in this case, if we can make it happen, I definitely will.
Okay, Judge, appreciate it.
All right, thanks guys. Is that it?